the Force be with you.
May the Force be with you.
May the Force be with you.
May the Force be with you.
How's it going, poker players? This is Steve Subbrady again, and I have a cash game hand again for you today. This time, it's a 1-2 game I played at the Red Rock Card Room in Las Vegas. May the Force be with me. We are 8-handed, and it folds to me in the cutoff with pocket fours. What should we do? The CPI of my hand is 40 points, which is 8 points for the first four, 4 points for the second four, and 28 points because it's a pair. This is summarized in this box. My position index from the cutoff is 38 points, so my hand is good enough to open. I usually open to 4 or 5 big blinds in this game because it's fairly soft. A GTO Wizard analysis shows that this is a mixed strategy situation with opening to 2.5 big blinds 55% of the time and folding 45% of the time. Both actions are 0 EV. But I suspect that the EV of opening improves when we are playing weak opponents, even when we open with a larger than GTO bet. Perhaps we can't make a big error here either way though. I opened $8, which is 4 big blinds, and only the big blind calls. The flop is Jack 6-2 with 2 clubs. The villain checks again, and it's on me. What should we do? I am the pre-flop aggressor, but I have missed a flop. Yet the math is in my favor when I see bet against a single opponent, so I nearly always continuation bet here, especially against a weak player who often makes post-flop mistakes. Even though this villain is loose and aggressive, I usually bet about half pot. But GTO Wizard has this as a pure strategy check, shown in green, with an EV of 1.95 big blinds. Yet betting 1/3 or 1/2 or 3/4 pot is nearly as good, just a few hundredths of a big blind less profitable. And these EVs are likely even higher when we face a real villain. I see bet to $8, which is a little bit more than half pot when we remove $2 for the rake and jackpot drop. The villain calls, and the turn is the 4 of clubs. The villain bets into us for about 2/3 pot, $20, and the action is on us. What should we do here? The turn card is a mixed blessing. It gives us a small set, but it also completes a straight and a flush. The villain is a loose and aggressive regular, but I doubt he has 5-3 or even 5-3 suited. It seems more likely that he either has a flush or is trying to represent one. He might even have just the naked ace of the flush of clubs. If he has a flush, we have 10 outs on the river to beat him with a full house or better, which is a 20% chance by the rule of twos. So if I call, I need to win another $27 on the river to satisfy the required implied pot odds. And of course, he could be bluffing. I think calling is the best choice here. GTO Wizard does not have a recommendation for us here because it assumes that we can't have pocket fours by this time. So I called, and the river is the final 4. And everybody likes the final 4, even a Wookiee. This gives us quads. The villain bets again, and this time it's $40, leaving $84 behind. Should I jam this time? The villain bet again, which suggests that he has a flush, and likely the nut flush. I have the nuts, so I have to bet. I doubt he will fold to a jam, so that's what we should do. So I jam, villain called, and chose ace-7 of clubs, which is a nut flush. He just couldn't fold it, even with the paired board. So how well did the villain play his ace-7 suited? Calling the open from the big blind with the ace-7 of clubs is fine, as was calling the c-bet with a nut flush draw. GTO Wizard has the villain playing the turn with his flush as a mixed strategy, with a preference to checking, shown in green. But leading is also a reasonable play with only a few hundredths of a big blind GTO air by betting, say, half pot. The villain's river bet was also fine. GTO Wizard has it as a pure strategy bet, with the most profitable bet size being 84% of the pot. Finally, GTO Wizard has calling the jam as a mixed strategy, with him calling 95% of the time. So the villain's play was quite reasonable throughout the hand. There are several important lessons we can learn from today's hand. First, use the Holy Grail opening strategy to determine your baseline decision. Then we can adjust based on our poker landscape. In a soft game, we should usually open with all our neutral combos. Second, nearly always see bet on the flop when we are heads up. Third, close second best GTO decisions are often very small errors in a real game, if at all. Hope you enjoyed the hand. That's all, folks.